Imagine a world where truth is mocked, morality is shattered, and desires rule over righteousness. A world where relationships are built on lies, where power belongs to the corrupt, and where the innocent suffer while the wicked flourish. Does this sound familiar? This is not just a dystopian nightmare, this is the world we live in today. This is Kaliyuga, the darkest of all ages, the final stage of human civilization as foretold in Hindu scriptures. But what if I told you that everything happening right now, corruption, violence, greed, the destruction of nature, and the collapse of morality was already predicted thousands of years ago? What if the chaos we see today is not random, but an inevitable sign that we are living in the darkest age of all? The Vishnu Purana, Bhagavad Gita, Garuda Purana, and Kalki Purana warned us about this era, describing its horrors in such terrifying detail that it feels like they were talking about our present day. But this is just the beginning. The worst is yet to come. Kaliyuga will not end peacefully. It will push humanity to the brink of destruction before the arrival of Kalki Avatar, the final incarnation of Lord Vishnu. But before that, the world will experience unimaginable suffering, forbidden desires, deception, and moral decay on a scale never seen before. How did we get here? What did Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vishnu Purana predict about this era? Why are human values crumbling at an unprecedented rate? And most importantly, is there any way to escape the horrors of Kaliyuga? Today, we are going to dive deep into the A to Z of Kaliyuga, from its origins to its terrifying climax. This will be the most detailed, eye-opening, and immersive breakdown of Kaliyuga you have ever seen. Stay with me till the end, because we will not only uncover the darkest secrets of this era, but also discuss how you can protect yourself from its corruption. This is a video you cannot afford to miss, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at the world forever. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cycle of Yugas. From divine harmony to Kaliyuga's darkness. Time in Hinduism is not linear. It moves in great cycles called yugas, just like the 4 seasons repeat in nature. Each yuga marks a different stage in the spiritual and moral evolution of humanity. But unlike the seasons, each yuga brings a progressive decline in righteousness, Dharma, until we reach the darkest age, Kaliyuga. The Vishnu Purana, Bhagavad Purana, and the Mahabharata describe these 4 yugas in detail. Number 1. Satya Yuga, the Golden Age. Total years of this yuga 17,28,000 years, a time of absolute truth and righteousness. Dharma stood on all 4 legs, meaning virtue was at its peak. Humans lived for 1,00,000 years, free from disease, lies, or sin. There was no concept of war, deceit, or greed. People communicated through telepathy, and spiritual enlightenment was natural. Number 2. Treta Yuga, the Silver Age. Total years of this yuga, 12,96,000 years. The first signs of moral decline appeared. Dharma now stood on 3 legs. Lifespans dropped to 10,000 years. The ego and desire for power were born. This was the time of Lord Rama and the Ramayana, a battle between righteousness and deception. Rituals and sacrifices became necessary to maintain balance. Number 3. Dvapara Yuga, the Bronze Age. Total years of this yuga, 8,64,000 years. Dharma weakened further, now standing on 2 legs. Lifespans dropped to 1,000 years. This was the age of Lord Krishna, the Mahabharata, and the great Kurukshetra war. Corruption, dishonesty, and war began to dominate. People still worshipped the divine, but spiritual decline had begun. Number 4. Kaliyuga, the Dark Age. Total years of this yuga, 4,32,000 years. Dharma now stands on 1 fragile leg. Morality is almost gone. Human lifespan plummets to 100 years, and later it will reduce to 20 years. The moment Lord Krishna left Earth after the Mahabharata, Kaliyuga began. The Kali Purusha, the embodiment of sin, deception, and lust, took control of the world. But who is Kali Purusha? He is not just a demon, he is a force, an invisible entity that fuels the destruction of righteousness. He promotes lies, manipulates human desires, and weakens spirituality. His influence can be seen everywhere in corrupt leaders, in toxic relationships, in addiction to pleasure, and in the rise of fake spirituality. And this is just the beginning. We are now 5,124 years into Kaliyuga, and the decline is accelerating. As the scriptures warned, the worst is yet to come. But how will Kaliyuga truly unfold? What shocking prophecies have yet to be fulfilled? And what role does Kalki Avatar play in all this? Chapter 2. The Birth of Kali Purusha, How the Demon King Took Over. The world did not descend into Kaliyuga overnight. It was a slow but inevitable process. And at the center of it all was Kali Purusha, the embodiment of sin, deception, and moral decay. He was not just a demon, he was a force, a concept, a dark energy that thrives in corruption and weakness. But how did he rise to power? How did this entity gain control over the world we live in today? To understand the takeover of Kali Purusha, we must go back to the Mahabharata era, when the first seeds of Kaliyuga were planted. Number 1. The Curse of King Parikshit, How Kali Purusha was Unleashed. After the Great War of Mahabharata, Arjuna's grandson, King Parikshit, ruled the earth with wisdom and righteousness. He was a noble and just king, upholding Dharma in every aspect of his rule. But his reign also marked the transition from Dvapara Yuga to Kali Yuga, a shift that would change humanity forever. One day, Parikshit encountered a dark entity disguised as a golden-clad man, attempting to torture a sacred bull and a cow symbolizing Dharma and Mother Earth. This entity was Kali Purusha himself, seeking permission to spread his influence in the new age. Parikshit, in his rage, drew his sword to destroy Kali, but the cunning demon begged for mercy. Knowing he could not kill Kali as long as Kaliyuga had already begun, Parikshit instead banished him from noble society and allowed him to dwell only in 4 specific places. Number 2. The 4 Homes of Kali, Where Sin Thrives. According to the Bhagavad Purana, Kali Purusha found his refuge in gambling, the birthplace of deception, where greed overcomes honesty; alcohol and drugs, the path to addiction, where the mind loses control; prostitution and illicit sex, the destruction of sacred relationships, where lust replaces love; gold and wealth worship, where material greed destroys spiritual growth. Later, Parikshit allowed him one more home wherever people lie. This decision sealed humanity's fate, as deception would now rule every aspect of life. Number 3. The First Signs of Collapse, How Kali Took Over Society. Once Kali Purusha was set free, his influence began spreading like wildfire. The Vishnu Purana and Bhagavad Purana describe how society would slowly crumble under his rule. Truth was replaced by lies. People began deceiving even their own families for personal gain. Charity was replaced by greed. Money became more important than virtue. Love was replaced by hatred. Relationships became transactional, filled with jealousy and betrayal. Under Kali Purusha's influence, people started worshipping wealth, status, and pleasure instead of righteousness. Those who held power, whether kings, politicians, or businessmen, became the most corrupt, exploiting the weak for personal gain. Number 4. Kali's Army, the forces that keep Kaliyuga alive. Kali Purusha does not work alone. To maintain control, he relies on an army of deception influencers that mislead society and push people further into ignorance and suffering. False gurus, spiritual leaders who use religion for money and power. Corrupt politicians, leaders who deceive the masses for personal gain. Toxic media and entertainment, a world filled with distractions, fake news, and propaganda. Addiction and social media, where people lose themselves in pleasure and meaningless validation. We live in a time where Kali's grip is stronger than ever, and his influence is nearly impossible to escape. But this is just the beginning. Kaliyuga will only get worse from here. The scriptures have predicted horrifying events yet to unfold, a complete collapse of morality, the destruction of relationships, and a world where even basic human decency will disappear. Chapter 3. The Rise of Evil in Kaliyuga, the Collapse of Society. As Kaliyuga progresses, morality, discipline, and human values will erode beyond recognition. What was once condemned will be celebrated, and what was once sacred will be mocked. The Bhagavad Purana warns that in this dark age, men and women will no longer seek love but marry for wealth, lust, and selfish gain. Families will shatter, truth will be silenced, and the very fabric of society will decay. Number 1. The fall of family and marriage. Love turns into lust. People will abandon their parents, treating them as burdens. Children will mock elders, reject traditions, and live without discipline. Relationships will no longer be based on loyalty. Cheating, betrayal, and lust will be the norm. Marriage will lose its sanctity as affairs, polygamy, and forbidden desires become widely accepted. The concept of soulmates and true love will vanish, replaced by short-term pleasure and material gain. The Bhagavad Purana states, "In Kaliyuga, men will desire the wives of others, and women will lose all sense of shame. They will use their beauty to attract people." Number 2. Forbidden desires and the rise of sexual corruption. Lust will dominate human minds, overpowering self-control and wisdom. Pornography, prostitution, and sexual exploitation will no longer be taboo, but accepted as normal. Social media and entertainment will flood society with lustful content, corrupting young minds. Same-sex relationships, LGBTQ movements, and alternative lifestyles will rise as people abandon traditional values. Physical pleasure will be prioritized over emotional connection, destroying trust in relationships. Number 3. The social media trap and digital slavery. People will become addicted to false digital realities, constantly comparing their lives to others. Depression, anxiety, and loneliness will rise as people lose real human connections. Instant gratification will weaken willpower, making people slaves to their desires. Fake news, lies, and manipulation through digital platforms will control public opinion. Technology will isolate people. Even in a crowd, they will feel alone. Number 4. The corrupt leaders and false gurus' betrayal from the top. Politicians will sell their own people for wealth and power. Justice will be for the rich and powerful, while the poor suffer in silence. Fake spiritual teachers will exploit religion, misleading millions for profit. The rise of cults and deceptive spiritual practices will replace true wisdom. God's name will be used for business, while true seekers of Dharma will be silenced. Number 5. The collapse of health and strength poison in food and water. Food will be filled with chemicals, weakening both the body and mind. Processed artificial and toxic diets will create new diseases never seen before. The human lifespan will drastically decline. Diseases will spread faster than ever. Rivers will dry, forests will disappear, and animals will go extinct due to pollution and human greed. Number 6. The fall of morality. Lies, greed, and betrayal become normal. People will sell their morals for money, abandoning ethics for personal gain. Kindness and compassion will disappear, replaced by ruthless self-interest. Speaking the truth will become dangerous. Those who expose lies will be mocked or silenced. Betrayal will be so common that no one will trust even their closest friends or family. Number 7. The destruction of nature. The signs of doom. Rivers will dry up, forests will vanish, and animals will be driven to extinction. Extreme weather will bring chaos. Floods, droughts, and fires will destroy cities. Pollution and overpopulation will suffocate the planet, making life unbearable. The land will cease to be fertile, and the waters will become undrinkable. Garuda Purana, number 8. The signs of the end. What comes next? Wealth equals morality. The rich will define what is right, and the poor will suffer. False gurus will rise. Religion will be commercialized, selling fake salvation. Fathers and sons become strangers. Families will fall apart. Love will disappear. Justice belongs to the rich. Courts, leaders, and laws will serve only those in power. Wars will destroy millions, the final phase before Kalki Avatar's arrival. Everywhere we look today, these signs are no longer predictions, they are reality. Is this the worst stage of Kaliyuga, or is the worst yet to come? Chapter 4. The Prophecies of Kaliyuga. The darkest future awaits. Hindu scriptures have long foretold the horrors of Kaliyuga, warning that as this dark age progresses, morality, spirituality, and humanity itself will decay beyond recognition. These are not just ancient myths, we are witnessing these prophecies unfold right before our eyes. The Vishnu Purana declares, "In the age of Kali, wealth will determine morality." The Bhagavad Gita warns, "Spiritual wisdom will vanish. False teachers will deceive the masses." The Garuda Purana describes horrifying punishments for those who fall into Kaliyuga's trap. But how bad will it get? What does the future hold as Kaliyuga reaches its final stage? The collapse of civilization, the final stages of Kaliyuga. As time progresses, society will spiral further into chaos. Wars will rage across the world, claiming millions of lives. Conflicts will arise for power, land, and resources, leading to destruction on an unimaginable scale. Weapons will become more advanced and deadlier, capable of wiping out entire cities in moments. People will grow impatient, always seeking pleasure, greed, and instant gratification. No one will have the patience to work hard or follow Dharma. Crime will rise to unimaginable levels, and there will be no place for honesty. Lies, corruption, and treachery will become the foundation of society. Sacred rivers like the Ganga and Yamuna will be polluted beyond saving, their divine purity lost to human greed and negligence. Food shortages and famine will become widespread, forcing people to eat anything to survive, including each other. Scriptures predict that in the darkest phase of Kaliyuga, humanity will turn to cannibalism, having lost all sense of morality. This is the world we are heading toward, a world where Dharma is nearly extinct, where truth is silenced, and where the strong prey upon the weak without remorse. Chapter 5. The Arrival of Kalki Avatar. The End of Kaliyuga. When humanity reaches its darkest hour, when Dharma is completely lost, and when corruption and sin rule the earth, Lord Vishnu will take his final incarnation, Kalki Avatar. This marks the end of Kaliyuga and the beginning of a new era. But this transition will not be peaceful. It will be a time of great destruction, war, and divine justice. Number 1. Who is Kalki Avatar? Hindu scriptures, including the Vishnu Purana, Bhagavad Purana, and Kalki Purana, describe Kalki as the final warrior of righteousness. He will be born in the village of Shambhala to a Brahmin couple, Vishnuyasha and Sumati, a mighty warrior riding a white horse, symbolizing divine purity, carrying a blazing sword, glowing with celestial fire, destined to destroy all evil, the harbinger of the apocalypse, bringing divine justice upon the wicked. Number 2. The final war, the cleansing of the world. Kalki's arrival will trigger the greatest war in history, where the forces of Dharma and Adharma will collide. He will wipe out corrupt rulers, false gurus, and sinful beings who have exploited humanity. Technology and weapons of mass destruction will cause unparalleled devastation. The earth will be engulfed in natural disasters, fires, and floods, a divine purification process. Only a few righteous souls will survive. Those who remain devoted to God's name, live righteously, spread kindness, speak only the truth, believe in God, and respect everyone, will be spared from the final destruction. Number 3. The end of Kaliyuga, the birth of a new world. After the war, the earth will be purified of sin and corruption. The cycle will restart, and a new Satya Yuga will begin. Nature will heal, rivers will flow with milk and honey, and forests will flourish. The human lifespan will extend to 1 lakh years, and disease will vanish. Truth, Dharma, and purity will once again rule the world. This is the destiny of Kaliyuga, the inevitable end and rebirth, but not everyone will survive. The question remains, will you stand with Dharma, or will you be lost in the final purge? Chapter 6. How to protect yourself in Kaliyuga. The path to survival. Can we escape the darkness of Kaliyuga? The answer is yes, but it requires effort, discipline, and devotion. Hindu scriptures, including the Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Purana, reveal how one can survive this age of corruption and chaos. Number 1. Follow Dharma. The path of righteousness. The only true way to resist Kaliyuga's influence is to live according to Dharma, the eternal truth. Embrace wisdom from Hindu scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Purana, and Garuda Purana. Follow a righteous life by practicing truth, kindness, and respect for all living beings. Serve others selflessly as Dharma protects those who uphold it. Number 2. Control desires, overcome the traps of Kaliyuga. Kaliyuga thrives on lust, greed, and false pleasures. To protect yourself, do not be ruled by material desires, seek spiritual fulfillment instead. Avoid addictions, whether it be money, power, or bodily pleasures. Stay away from immoral relationships, deceitful people, and temptations that weaken your soul. Number 3. Chant the holy names, divine protection. The simplest and most powerful way to protect yourself in Kali Yuga is through chanting the names of God. Mantras like Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and Om Namah Shivaya create a shield around the soul. In Bhagavad Purana, in Kali Yuga, chanting the Lord's name is the only way to liberation. Regular prayers and devotion purify the mind and keep negative energies away. Number 4. Avoid toxic influences. Protect your mind and soul. The world is filled with corrupt media, fake gurus, and poisonous distractions designed to mislead you. Do not let negative people influence your thoughts. Stay away from propaganda, immoral entertainment, and deceptive spirituality. Eat pure, healthy food, avoiding processed and artificial products that weaken the body and mind. Number 5. Live a righteous life. Dharma will protect you. Even in the darkest of times, Dharma will always protect those who follow it. Speak the truth, even when lies are more convenient. Respect all living beings, as compassion is the key to spiritual elevation. Lead by example, inspiring others to walk the righteous path. The path to salvation is still open, but only for those who seek it. In the end, only the pure of heart will survive Kaliyuga's storm. Final chapter, the truth about Kaliyuga. What will you do? Now that you know the complete truth about Kaliyuga, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you ignore it and continue living in ignorance, or will you take action to protect yourself and your loved ones? Hindu scriptures have given us a clear warning and a clear path. Spirituality, righteousness, and devotion are the only ways to survive. Kaliyuga is not the end, it's a test. A test of your faith, morality, and willpower. The choice is yours. 1. Will you drown in the darkness of Kaliyuga or rise as a warrior of light? 2. Will you let greed, lust, and deception rule you or stand for truth and Dharma? 3. Will you live for temporary pleasures or prepare your soul for the final battle? The time to act is now. If this video opened your eyes, don't keep this knowledge to yourself, spread the truth. Like Stand Against the Darkness of Kaliyuga. Subscribe. Join the journey of wisdom and survival. Comment. Which sign of Kaliyuga scares you the most? Do you think Kaliyuga is nearing its end? The final battle is coming, but remember, where there's Krishna, there's hope. Stay strong, stay righteous. Jai Shri Kalki.